boys and girls, it's Mrs. Baker. Thank you for joining me on this snow day. The library was open this morning, but we've closed down again because the snow is coming down. So I'm working from home today and I had a great new idea. Thank you to my friend Denise Stark, who gave me this idea. Today's segment is called Snow Science. So here I am, out in the backyard of my house. I'm in my winter clothes because it is awful cold. But you know, I've noticed that this morning the snow is light and fluffy, and now it's easy to make a snowball and a snowman and to pack it. That means that the temperature is changing, and so the snow is getting a little bit warmer and a little bit stickier. And it made me think it's time to make a snow volcano. Now, quite a few years ago, if you came to a summer reading program, we made volcanoes with baking soda and vinegar. The idea is really, really simple. But the great thing about doing a volcano outside is that your parents, your caregivers, are probably a little bit more willing to do it because it's outside in the snow. So, I wanted to explain just a couple parts of this, just because it's a little bit of science and it's interesting how it all works together. You're not going to need many things, and I know you have them at home. First of all, you're going to need some dish soap, right? You're going to use that. And I like to add a little color to my volcanoes, so I just have some food colorings. Now, if you didn't have food colorings, you could use some watercolor paint. Might be a little bit more complicated, but don't ditch the whole idea of doing this volcano if you don't have the food colors. It's just going to add a little bit to it. Then you're going to get some baking soda. And we all have this in the house. It's good for baking, but it's also good for cleaning. I use it all over the place. And then finally, white vinegar. The type of vinegar that you would use to decorate eggs at Easter. So, what we're first going to do is we're going to get a cup. Now, I've also been told that you can get a bottle, like a used water bottle. I'm just going to use a cup because I had a couple of them. And what we're going to do, and I did this already when we were in the house because my fingers get cold, is you're going to add a tablespoon of dish soap. Now, if it's a little less than a tablespoon or a little bit more, that's okay. This is science. It either works out or it doesn't. That's the beautiful thing about science. So, here's your dish soap. And you're going to add that in your cup. Again, I did it already before. The magic of television. And then you're going to decide what color you want to add. Remember, don't get disappointed if you're home without food coloring. I hope you don't live in a house without food coloring. Now you're just off. But anyway, you're going to add a little bit of your food coloring, whatever your favorite color is, right on top. Now, I bet you know the answer to this, but if you add a lot of food coloring, is your volcano going to be super, super bright colored? Yes. The more color you add, the more color will come out of the eruption of your volcano. And then you're going to add quite a bit of baking soda. I'm going to do that now. I'm just dumping it in there. This is the part we have to keep in mind. This may or may not work. Now, if I was to get all sciencey on you, I would tell you that these are base materials, right? They don't have any acidic value to them. They're very kind of chill. They're just base. They're very calm. But along comes the acid. This is all sorts of sassy, and it's very zingy and acidic. And when you add an acid to a base, that's when you have a reaction. And science is just about reactions and then judging what happens from those reactions. Here comes our favorite part. We're going to make a volcano. So you can see here that I've made some volcanoes. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a real easy volcano here. And I'm going to punch a hole in it, and I'm going to put my cup. This is when I should probably thank my favorite cameraman, Mr. Baker, for helping me with all my silly little projects. Here we go. So, this is the part, maybe if you were 8 years old, you would really get into making a very cool volcano. You can see that I've made a pretty standard volcano, but basically it's just a mound of snow, and you really can't see the cup if you're looking straight across. Well, the only other thing you're gonna need is some warm water. Now, because we're out here, and it's very cold, I have to say, I brought it in a thermos, so you might want to consider doing that too. Now, the only measuring cup besides the tablespoon for dish soap, I'll point out this recipe's all going to be on the website. Don't freak out. Here's a 1/4 cup of warm water. That's going to go in the baking soda. Well, I tell you what, boys and girls, it's starting to zing up. It's starting to bubble, which is a reaction, remember that word? To the baking soda. Are you ready? I really hope this works. Here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, volcano! Woo! Look at that! Can you see that? Oh, that is so cool! Now, you can see that it's foaming up. Can you see it? Can you see it, Mr. Baker? Are you getting this all? This one's a green one. Well, I thought I added a whole lot of green food coloring, but I guess I didn't add enough. I think on my next one I'll add a little bit more food coloring. The other thing that I read is if you use a bottle and it has a narrow top on it, the pressure of your reaction is going to make a larger eruption. I think that's pretty darn cool. But let's see how this one goes. Are you ready? All right. So this one, I decided to use red food coloring. I'm going to add more. See, science is just about trying things out. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes you can figure out how to do things better. That's a nice thing about science. Ooh, it's also getting a little frozen in there. So remember, I have the dish soap, I have some food coloring. I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of water. Ready? Oh, you know what I forgot? Baking soda. Pretty important when you're making volcanoes. All right, I'm gonna add a lot in there. Okay, you ready? I'm ready. Give me a countdown, boys and girls. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Look at that! Even when I added more red food coloring, it still wasn't enough. But that is kind of cool. Look at that, and it's still erupting. Look at that. Now, remember, before you use any of these ingredients, ask your caregiver or your mom and dad. I just have the real nice position that I'm the grocery shopper around here. Woo. Look at that. Mr. Baker, are you getting that? That looks so cool. Do you think if I added a little bit more vinegar in this one, do you think we'd have some more reaction? I don't know. That's kind of a hypothesis, isn't it? I'm going to say yes. There's going to be another reaction. Ready? Hey! I was right. There must have been more baking soda still in there to react. I've got one more. We're getting really good at this, aren't we? So, I'm thinking that maybe adding the water first helped. I don't know why. Well, I'm going to do it again because that was kind of cool. Ready? 1/4 cup. Warm water. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. All right. Good. All right. Dish detergent. Food coloring. 1/4 cup water. Let's go for broke on this one, boys and girls. Go big or go home. We're using probably 1/3 of a box of baking soda on that one. And if you're ready, I want you to give me the countdown. I want you to give me a 3, 2, 1. Volcano! Ah! Now that's pretty. Look at that one. Add a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty knocked. Let's see this one. Ah, a little bit more. I think this is my favorite. That's really cool. I'm thinking, I used a blue dish detergent, so I'm thinking maybe this is why this one is so vibrant. It's very cool. Nice. Well, boys and girls, I think this has gone well. You've seen me through quite a few science experiments that did not go well. But keep in mind that science is all around us, and it doesn't take much just to experiment. Make sure you get permission, and you do it safely, and you do it with someone. And remember, before you do the experiments, think a little bit about what's going to happen. That'll help you down the line when you have to do lab reports and think about hypothesis and what's going to happen. This has been so much fun. I've got to get back and do my teen talk at 3:30. I am so glad you're using your library. I am so happy to see you when you come pick up your Storytime to Go bags. Well, for now, I have to tell you that this has been a production of Baker Company in cooperation with Elkins Public Library and the town of Canterbury. This is a education fair use only and cannot be sold or copied without written permission of myself, Elkins Public Library, or the town of Canterbury. I am so proud of you. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep trying. Remember, boys and girls, I love you, and I'm so proud of you.